Okay, hi, good evening. Thank you for coming in this evening. So we're on a kind of a strange evening in that we're not repeating the talk, but we are recording it because a number of people are coming in a little later, so they'll be able to access it online, as would you if you chose to watch it again. But this part of the evening really is just to introduce the sixth form, to talk you through some of the visions and values and offer that we have at Norton College, and then an opportunity really for you to move over into the sixth form building and to have a look around some of the subject areas, ask some questions, talk through really the kind of intricacies of what benefits there would be in studying certain subjects and what they might lead to later on. It really is an opportunity to do just that. You'll also get a chance shortly to hear from our student presidents. They will talk you through some of the detail of their experiences at the school. What I would do first of all, though, is just to take you to a short video clip from some recently departed students from the sixth form, and they talk here about their respective experiences.
There's a lot of lessons, so you get a lot of time to choose and experience different subjects before you reach the time in year 10. So you get lots of help with your GCSEs, and then that made me want to stay on the sixth form.
The strong point really is most students would say they have quite a good relationship with the teachers, and I think that's one reason why I came to Norton Sixth Form as well, is because we know all the teachers and quite friendly with them, and all the lessons are relatively interesting.
There's a lot of things for creative arts and that. So you can do concerts or productions or whatever suits your taste.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra curricular stuff which is really good, and even when GCSEs were quite stressful, every teachers were always really helpful, and it's quite a relaxed but good environment to work in, really.
I've been here since year 7. As the years go on, you do make loads of friends and you do really enjoy your time here. I have really enjoyed it, and now looking back, being in my last year, I don't know where the time went.
So I joined in year 12 and I came from a much bigger school, about 200 miles move. But since settling in here has been a lot easier than any other school I've transitioned to, because it's a lovely, family friendly and quite communal, and you get to know everyone here.
Make sure you take part in the school shows. They are an amazing opportunity to get to know people from every year group.
You may not physically want to be in the centre of the spotlight. You can work backstage with quite a few other students.
So there is sport activities during lunchtimes and after schools, which are really good for if you want to learn how to do different sports or just be part of a team.
I think they did quite well at gradually transitioning you in, so you felt more comfortable before you actually took on the work.
So, as I say, you'll hear from some of the students shortly, and they're the ones who will tell you really exactly what it's like in a sixth form at Norton College. Now, in terms of what do we stand for as a school, in terms of me and my background as the head teacher, I've only ever worked in schools with sixth forms. I would only ever want to work in a school with a sixth form, because I think the opportunity it offers both to students carrying on through into year 12 and 13 and to the younger students to see the role models is invaluable. In 11 to 16 schools, you don't get that in the same way. What we stand for as a school is behind me here, and for the 2 years that I've been at the school, this has really underpinned everything that we have done and will do going forward as well. As you look down these, it's not just about the outcomes, but unapologetically that does sit at the heart of what we look to achieve. What we are is looking to develop the rounded person, and so when we look at personal development, when we look at what is that person going to be able to contribute to the wider community and wider life, that really shapes the fabric of what we offer in the sixth form. But ultimately, we are looking at where do you go next, and are we facilitating that in the best possible way? Our Aspire values help us to do that. And those of you who are already at the school, you will be very, very familiar with these. But they are kind of at the moment maybe just a list of things on a page. They've got to mean something in practice as well, and particularly aspiration, high standards, high expectations of students, because this is a big choice. And when you look at where you're going to go, it is a big and significant choice. And there are lots of opportunities post 16, and it's a good thing to look at all of them. It's a good thing to embrace the full gamut of opportunity. But I genuinely believe that this is a fabulous opportunity by being at Norton College sixth form, whether from a different school or already here, to take an opportunity. And that opportunity sits around a whole raft of different measures. At its heart are really strong outcomes, and we do have very strong outcomes. And beyond that, we have a whole range of different reasons that being here, I think, is the right choice. Norton College has a sixth form which is at the heart of our school improvement work. So teachers discuss, teachers come to the school in order that they can teach A-level, that they can teach level 3 qualifications. So that sits at the heart of the work that we do as a school. If students come here, they will have facilities which are bespoke and individualised to them. So we've got a canteen, we've got a sixth form study space, and an area where students are able to be together both socially and academically without other students in the school. But I think it's quite easy to undervalue the benefit of being in a school. I said at the beginning, I would never want to work in a school without a sixth form. And that's because of the role model opportunities that it offers. And it goes beyond that, because actually for students themselves, as they go on to wider life, university, employment, working with younger students, taking on roles of responsibility is something that really does stand you in fabulous stead. And you don't get that if you go into a discrete sixth form college. And it's easily overlooked. It's easy to think, well, it would be better if I were working only with sixth formers. That is absolutely not the case. We get the best of both worlds within the school setting. So if we look at student leadership, for example, we've got here the raft of groups that we have working across the school, and it is sixth form students who lead those areas. We have our student presidents, and the student presidents will speak to you shortly, and they are, if you like, the kind of best role models that we have as a school, and it's the most senior student position that we can offer. Alongside that, though, we've got ambassadorial roles across subject areas that allows students to be involved not only in supporting younger students in the school, but also in things like interview processes, things like shaping the teaching and learning practice across the school. We have opportunities to work as a peer mentor, to work with younger students, helping them to develop their reading skills, their literacy skills, and wider volunteering beyond that as well. So we have students working, for example, at Norton Primary School, supporting in some of the lessons there during the enrichment periods. And Mr. Evans will speak shortly to you about those opportunities which sit there. And I know from my own children who have both finished school, and one is at university and one has gone beyond that, the benefits they had from being in a school with a sixth form and working with younger students. And as I say, that is very, very easy for us to overlook. If we look at what do we stand for as a school, well, we are shaping the future, and we really are. If we look at kindness and tolerance, if we look at diversity, if we look at working hard, they are the values which underpin everything that we do, and our sixth formers are those who head that. They're the role models. But ultimately, these two slides I think are the most important, and the sixth form really typify that. The first of those is about the danger of settling for mediocrity. For me, the sixth form should be the pinnacle of achievement, and that is what we're looking for it to be. That is what it stands for at Norton College. We want children to aspire to be the very best they can possibly be, and if they fall very slightly short, then they fall very slightly short, but it's not for the want of effort and trying. And we work that across the entirety of the stakeholder community, parents, staff, and students alike. We are aspiring to the very best that we can be. We have smaller classes. They allow us to have bespoke teaching methods in a way that you don't have in other institutions. And we work around that in order that we can achieve those high standards. And secondly, that we open opportunities for the future. I'm really proud over 30 years to look back at students that I've taught, students that I've worked with in the sixth forms that I've worked previously. And they've gone on to great things. And our job is to shape that future, and we really do just that. It's why I came into education. It's why I really believe in all that we do. So it's a fabulous opportunity. I really hope that as you go around the school tonight, you ask questions, get a real sense of the place. Those of you who are here already, tomorrow is a drop-down day. You'll get a chance to experience those in practice, those lessons as well. Do look at new subjects as well as those that you know, because actually you'll find a lot of new subjects give you opportunities that you might not have thought about. And there might be things about those subjects that you've not even understood until this point. So make the most of the evening. I'm going to hand over at that point to Mr. Evans, who's going to talk you through some of the mechanics.
So I'm Mr. Evans, head of sixth form, and this is a sixth form team. There's myself, Miss Atkinson Spragg, the pastoral leader. She can't unfortunately be here tonight. Mr. Findlater, who's going to speak to you in a moment, and Mrs. Medley, who's the careers leader. This is the core sixth form team who are dedicated to the sixth form specifically. However, of course, we have the broader staff that teach and support students in other ways in lessons and beyond. I like Lego. I'm a big fan of it because it's all about imagination. When you get some bricks and you put them together, there's no sort of, I mean, if you use a manual, there's an end point to it. But actually, you can make anything you like out of those bricks, and the limit is your imagination. And that's how I like to see the sixth form. Students will come to sixth form, and they will change, and they will mature, and they will develop, and they will become a different person, a better, more organised person. I'll go into the details about what we expect to find at the end of sixth form, but it's a real transition period. And it's a really, really, really important 2 years in any young person's life. We like to think that students who come to Norton College make a contribution, take opportunities, as the student presidents have done, embrace differences and develop relationships. All those things are incredibly important. It's not just about A-level subjects. It's about more than that. So tonight's a chance to meet staff and students in our sixth form. You can look at subject areas, find out how courses are structured and delivered. But it's an opportunity, as Sir said a moment ago, to ask questions of the team. Any questions you have, this is your chance to ask them. Don't go home and think, oh, I wish I'd have asked that. No matter how much you think about it, if you think, oh, that's a silly question, I don't think I'll bother answering. I don't want to bother anyone. No, please do. Please ask questions. That's what this evening is all about. So I mentioned earlier about sixth form being a bridge. A bridge is it's often a bridge to university from GCSEs, but that's not for every student. We do expect every student in sixth form to apply for university. However, it might be that a student also has aspirations for a high level apprenticeship or employment. We have a careers person, I said Mrs. Medley, that's situated in sixth form that can help perform that job. And we also have some very skilled teams to talk about how you apply to university and high level apprenticeships, how you do personal statements, how you write CVs and things, so you can make the very, very best of your knowledge and skills on that next step, whatever that may be. We think, or I think, I'd like students when they leave sixth form to be the following: to be clear about what their next steps are and how to take them, to be confident and to have found their voice. Sometimes when you go to a large sixth form, you can't find your voice because you're drowned out by hundreds and hundreds of other students. At Norton College, we don't have that issue. We are a small sixth form and we are better for it. I know every single sixth former personally. I know the positives and the areas of development for those students. I follow their attendance and support them in all sorts of ways. That personal level of support cannot be in place in a college where you have 1,000 or 1,500 students. It just can't be done. This is the big advantage of Norton College. I want young people to be organised and independent in their learning, to get more independent, to be a role model for younger students and friends to their peers, to be leaders, as our student leadership are, to be aware of their strengths, but also issues around well-being, and just in general become a well-rounded adult, aware of the issues and challenges of the wider world. And that's where we come to enrichment, which I'll speak about in a moment. Now, to gain admission to Norton College, we expect students to achieve 5 grade 4s from full course GCSE programmes or equivalent, and a grade 4 in English and Maths. There are additional entry requirements. That's in the prospectus that you've all got. If you want to do a particular course, there might be some specific requirements to join that course. It's all in there. I won't go into detail about those individual courses now. So the sixth form building, Sir's mentioned it earlier. We are lucky to have a sixth form building in the way we do. It's a bespoke sixth form building. We have the sixth form library, which I'll talk about more in a moment. It's a work area for sixth formers to go and do private study and work on their maybe homework or extra study around their subjects. It's a quiet working environment. We do, however, a social area, which is the sixth form diner, which is downstairs in sixth form, and you can have a chance to have a look in there when you go over to sixth form. There's an outside space as well for students to use. We're really lucky in having this. We also have catering on site in sixth form for students at break and lunchtime. Not every college or school has those kind of facilities. And timetable, we expect students to follow 3 A-levels or equivalent courses throughout their time at sixth form, but you can also complete an extended project qualification if you wish. And Mr. Findlater is going to talk about that shortly. Now we have normal lessons for each of those subjects, 4 hours a week, but we also do 2 hours of enrichment. And enrichment is about getting the well-rounded student, about giving students experiences and knowledge and skills that are simply beyond the A-level syllabus, because those skills are really important in life. When a student leaves sixth form college, they need to have the academic skills and knowledge, of course, but they also need to have those life skills that are all important. We also, as I said, we do private study, 4 hours per week, and that's carried out in the sixth form library. And we also have something called assessment centre, where students are expected to complete assessed pieces of work in the sixth form area every week, which is marked and fed back to them. So it gives a structure to the private study that students are expected to have. A typical timetable would be this. As you can see, there's lessons on there, there's enrichment on there, there's private study on there. There are also free periods. Now, free periods are there for students to use whatever time they like to do other things as well. Students do like to socialise in those periods. That's fine. Those friendship skills and those socialising skills are important. Students sometimes will go off site and sign out and then sign back in. We have lanyards for every student, and you'll see the students wearing lanyards tonight. There's an electronic signing in and signing out process that students can use if they wish to leave site for a lesson that is a free lesson. They don't have any private study, enrichment or lessons. We like to give that facility to students because we like to give them the responsibility to be young adults. It is a bridge from school, and there is an increasing amount of independence with students at sixth form, and that's quite right. So I like to give them that in order to help them move on to the next step, where they go to university or a job and employment, and they've got a lot more free time. This is a way of structuring that and supporting them in that transition. Enrichment time is Wednesday afternoons. We have an assembly every Wednesday, and we have an enrichment team that deliver specific enrichment subjects. And examples of those subjects would be Mr. Findlater with EPQ, multi-sports, because there's no compulsory PE at sixth form level, so we feel that's important that students have that experience. We have a fitness suite over in the sixth form block that students can use. Again, we're very lucky to have that facility. We offer Duke of Edinburgh, subject captains, where students go into subject areas and support students lower down the school. Cooking on a budget, which is pretty important when you go to university, particularly in these constrained times. 21st century issues with me, talking about the world and what's going wrong with it, and why the world is the way it is, and why this country is the way it is, and politics and history and culture and all those sorts of things. Volunteering, as Sir said, we have 2 students volunteering at a primary school currently, and also online courses as well that students can study in this enrichment time to get them extra qualifications in money management, for example, or even a driving theory test. The next steps, this is UCAS website. UCAS is a big thing. We do encourage every student, and we insist on every student making a university application. They go through that process. However, they may decide in the end not to go to university. They might decide to do something else. Well, actually, UCAS has a lot of information about higher level apprenticeships and other routes post 18, sorry. And it's a really fantastic hub for all that information. We also have a Norton Twitter feed, which follows Cambridge University, Oxford University, various Russell Group universities, and UCAS. So there's all sorts of things being tweeted all the time that students can access. As I said, high-level apprenticeships are something that students do try to follow, and Mrs. Medley is on site, based in sixth form, and she can really help in that regard. We do have a uniform policy. It's on the website. We don't insist on business dress, for example, like some schools do. Again, this is about freedom. It's about independence. We think it's important to give students that freedom and independence to make that transition between school and university, or whatever the next stage of their life is. Okay. As Sir said earlier, Year 11 Takeover Day is tomorrow, where students have chosen 4 subjects of their choice to trial on the day, so they get a real taste of what an A-level subject would be like in the classroom. And we think that's really, really important in helping students to make a decision about what they want to do post 16. They do 1 hour of enrichment, And that could be anything, well, like I said earlier, multi-sports or 21st century or EPQ. If they are going to do a sporting activity tomorrow, they need to bring sport kit. And they will have break and lunch in the sixth form diner, which is a whole new experience for them because they've never been in there before and they're all very excited about it. Okay, I'd like to hand over to Mr. Findlay, who's going to talk a little bit about his role as an academic enrichment leader. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Findlater, and I am the Sixth Form Academic Enrichment Lead here at Norton College. My responsibilities vary each year depending on the requirements of our students and their personal aspirations. My first role is as a mentor, and this year I have a Year 13 mentor group. Aside from the mentor program that all mentors follow and I have a part in creating, I act as a sounding board and a port of call and help direct our students in the correct direction for them, and to even ensure like slight nagging they meet their deadlines. I work with my own mentor group and all students across sixth form with the university applications, as already mentioned. We've had one student apply for Oxford and already had some offers back. So even if you're questioning whether medicine, veterinary science, dentistry or Oxford is the right thing for you, I can work with you and help you make the right decision. As part of the enrichment programme, as we mentioned, on Wednesday afternoons, I lead the EPQ sessions. The EPQ, which stands for the Extended Project Qualification, is a rare opportunity to truly investigate anything that you find fascinating, and I really do mean absolutely anything. Projects vary from areas of business to game design and theatre analysis. You can really choose any topic you want to investigate. The EPQ is an excellent way to support your university application, as it really shows you've made that extra effort. It isn't easy. It's a significant amount of time, dedication and independence. And universities can offer actually to change their grade upon the successful completion of your EPQ. The independent working skills that students develop during the successful completion of their project are obviously transferable and are able to be brought to many other aspects of life apart from university. I also arrange visits and talks to universities to best inform our students, and these have included and are including this year Oxford and Cambridge, Newcastle, York, Leeds, York St John's, amongst many others. Students are encouraged to visit universities, attend open days and ask questions. And this is one photo from a visit to the careers fair. I also work with students obviously wanting to apply to Oxford medicine, veterinary science and dentistry, but any student wanting to go to a Russell Group university, I also work with them as well. The Russell Group is a group of elite universities with reputation for academic achievement and excellence. I would like to end by saying that I know our teachers at Norton College go above and beyond. They really are experts in their subjects and they instill this love of learning in lessons. And I really do look forward to seeing the paths that our students take and all they can achieve. Thank you.